a recurring dream, a nightmare, that many of us have had that keep us awake or alarm us, a recurring dream that has happened to many of us, and it goes something like this. You oversleep. You sleep through your alarm, and you wake up realizing how late it is. You panic, and you scurry to get ready, running to where you're supposed to be, only to discover that you're late, much to your shame. You arrive unprepared, missing what you were supposed to bring or what you were supposed to present, or having no idea how to take the test you were about to take or do your presentation. And you are dressed in entirely the wrong thing, or nothing at all. And much to your shame, everyone can see how ill-prepared and what a fool you are. Isn't it a relief after you have that dream when you wake up and realize it was only a dream and that all of your secrets are yours? Well, today, the first Sunday in the season of Advent, the season when we celebrate Jesus coming to us as a baby, and Jesus coming to all the world at the time he shall choose to appear to all the universe. And we wait. Today is meant to bring relief, the same kind of relief you experience when you wake up from a bad dream. Because today, through his word, through the Bible, God is trying to wake us up from a bad dream. Much of life, many days seem like a bad dream. Like we are stuck, running at top speed as fast as we can possibly go, and yet getting nowhere. Maybe it feels like day after day you are late, or that you arrive unprepared, or wearing the wrong thing, or that time and time again you say or do the wrong thing, and that it's obvious to everyone that you are constantly exposed, and what a screw-up or mess or failure you are. Perhaps you feel like day after day, the world sees how incompetent, unsuccessful, and foolish you are. What's especially difficult is when the Bible itself is the source of our anxiety. The gospel that we read today from Matthew itself can feel like a nightmare. It exposes our fear that perhaps the day will come when we will wake up and discover that someone has been taken, that those we love have been taken into heaven to be with God or the new creation, and that we are left behind. The nightmare that we are left out, left behind, and that God has decided we are not worthy of God's kingdom after all. The gospel is not meant to be a nightmare. No, in fact, it is a wake-up call. Today's gospel is an alarm, a wake-up call. God gives it to us to stir us awake, to wake us up, to help us come to reality, to wake up from the bad dream, from the nightmare we have been living. Today, God reveals to us that we have been living in a dream world of our own making, and it hasn't turned out to be quite what we imagined it to be. That we have been chasing after things and after people that do not bring life. That we have ignored both the needs and the gifts of others because we have been so obsessed with our own. That we have been working for our own glory instead of God's. That we have said things and done things and thought things out of anger and jealousy, revenge, frustration, and anxiety, and that has only left more hurt in our homes, in our hearts, in our families, and the world. That kind of living is like living with sleep apnea, where constantly you are struggling for breath, trying to get some air, where constantly you are left exhausted and have no rest. Well, God has heard us calling out in our nightmares, calling out for help in the dark, and has decided to come here today to worship, to meet us in order to wake us up. This gospel is the wake-up call, that God is turning on the light, opening the curtains, shaking us awake, and for some of us, even flipping over the mattress to get us to wake up. Wake up, God says. Wake up. This should come as a relief that how you have been living does not need to be how you go on, that you do not need to live in the bad dream or think that the nightmare is all there is. It should come as a relief and also change, that it's not just for your sake that you can now feel good about yourself, but so that you can live differently for the sake of the world. Do you remember the Christmas Carol? And Ebenezer Scrooge, after meeting the three ghosts, the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, and coming to terms with his own death, and that he shall die alone, friendless, with no one. And then he falls out of bed and realizes that it was a dream, that he has a second chance. And the chance changes everything. And waking up changes everything. It changes how he treats people. It changes how he uses his money. It changes how he sees himself and the very purpose of life itself. That is what a wake-up call is for. That is what today's gospel is for. Not to scare you into a nightmare, but to wake you up from it. That it may change how you treat other people, how you use your money, how you see yourself and the purpose of life itself. God is waking you up, that you might live differently, to say it's a new day. It's time to get up, get out of bed, get dressed into something more appropriate, to be something more like Christ. It's time to get up and to share the same generosity, the same forgiveness, the same second chances that you have been given with others. It's time to wake up and seek first and only the kingdom of God, and the rest will be given as well. The rest will be given as well, because unlike our nightmare, unlike the bad dream that we are so often confronted with in our lives, in the lives of those we love, when we watch TV or the news, when we turn on our computers, unlike all of those bad dreams, God gives us a different reality, a different view of the world. God's dream is the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God, where everyone is loved and valued for who God that made them to be. The kingdom of God, where all of creation lives in harmony with God and each other. The kingdom of God, where everyone has enough. The kingdom of God, where there is no longer division, but unity and understanding and love that endures in all circumstances. The good news, dear ones, is that God's dream for you and for the world is not just a dream. It is a reality. It is a certainty. God's dream is that you would be there, and because of Jesus Christ, you will be. But God's dream is also that you might wake up today and live in that reality now, not waiting for some distant future, dreaming your life away. And so, now that you have been woken up, now that you are awake, you can lay down your own dreams and take up God's dream for the world, for you, and for all creation. Thanks be to God.
Amen.